Well, good morning, Practical Finances friends and family. This is Curtis, your host, and thank you for joining me for episode 5 of the winter season. Now, today's topic of discussion is going to be identity theft and protection. Okay, we're going to be discussing what identity theft is, how to identify it, and ways to protect yourself. Now, hopefully, this episode will give you a better understanding of the subject at hand. Okay. All right, so get your notepad out so we can get started. Now, give me a second so I can share my presentation. Okay, here we go. All righty, identity theft and protection. Okay, so let's give some facts and some statistics here. All right, statistics. I can't talk today. All righty. Okay, now in 2019 notes a record high identity fraud losses of 16.9 billion. Okay, there were 1,473 data breaches that occurred in 2019, exposing nearly 165 million sensitive records. All right, the FTC stats report on 2.7 million identity theft complaints in 2017, just about 3.5 years ago. 60 million Americans were affected by identity theft in 2018. 1 in 15 people become victims of identity fraud. 31.7% of breach victims experience identity theft, stats indicate. And by 2022, it is expected that shopping fraud will cost consumers around $20 billion per year. That's billion with a B. Okay, so what is identity theft? Now, as defined by the Department of Justice, identity theft includes crimes in which someone wrongfully obtains and uses another person's personal data in some way that involves fraud or deception, typically for economic gain. So what do we mean by identity? Identity, what is that? Now, those documents that have information about identity that can be stolen, for instance, your driver's license, state ID, social security card, passport. Now, there's other information thieves can use to impersonate someone, your social security number, your name, your address, and your date of birth, for example. All right. Now, how can you be harmed by identity theft? All right, a couple of different types of identity theft. Now, identity cloning or concealment, that is, you're impersonating someone else in real life. Criminal identity theft, identifying oneself as another person to police while being arrested. You being arrested, someone asks your name. Oh, my name is John Smith. My name is not Curtis Gardner in this particular case. Synthetic identity theft, that's creating a fake ID with someone else's social security card. Okay, very typical kind of identity theft. Medical identity theft, that's using someone else's identity to get medical treatments for benefits. Child identity theft, using the child's identity for personal gain. Those individuals out there who may put a light bill or a water bill or gas bill in their child's name, that's theft. And financial identity theft, now that's the most common type. Now, these thieves are looking for financial gain. They may use the stolen identity to get credit cards or loans or buy things. They may even open up new accounts in your name, making it harder for you to catch them. All right, so ways criminals can steal your identity. Phishing with a P, Phishing. They trick you into giving personal information through email. Okay, so when you get those emails and they say, this is such and such from Amazon, and we need to verify your account, or this is somebody from your local bank, we need to verify information, give us your personal information, your social, things like that. Just as a note, don't do it, but that's called phishing. That's called vishing, when individuals do the same thing, but they do it by phone. And then smishing is phishing by text messages. So be real careful with that one. Be careful with all of them, but definitely be careful with smishing, because most people now are on their phones texting more than anything else. Now, spear phishing is electronic or email or electronic communication scam, targeting toward a specific individual, organization, or business. And it's used to steal money or to install malware on a targeted computer. All right, so just be real careful there. Now, farming is when there are fake websites. Um, if your account has been, or your computer has been hacked, sometimes what happens is you may put in, I want to go to Amazon.com. So you go to Amazon.com, you go to a site, it looks like Amazon.com, for instance, and looks like what you've seen before, but it's a fake website. All right. Or you may have received something in the mail or a text message saying, hey, listen, can you click on this site here so you can do some shopping or verify information? The site comes up. Again, it looks like Amazon or some other website like that, but it's a fake website. Now, how do you know it's a fake website? Look at the address. All right, look at the website address. If it's Amazon.com or Google or whatever site you like to shop at, for instance, it will say the name of the company in the site. But if you look up there, look up in the address, and it does not say, for instance, Amazon.com, then guess what? That's not the site. All right, it's a fake website. Skimming, that's stealing credit card data or debit card numbers. You'll find skimming machines at the ATM. Some criminals will put a special overlay over the ATM card acceptor or reader, and that will steal your information. They do the same thing at gas stations. So be real careful when you're using those facilities or those machines. All right. And social media scamming. People will try to target you through your social media site or page. All right. Warning signs of identity theft. Okay. Withdrawals you didn't make. All right. Missing bills and statements. All right. Merchants refusing your checks. All right. Credit card transactions not going through. Those are some signs, ways you can identify identity theft. More warning signs: letters about accounts you didn't open, emails about purchases you didn't make, statements for credit cards you don't have, debt collectors calling you about debts that aren't yours, password or usernames not working. Those are all signs. So be aware and alert to those particular signs. All right. And again, even more signs: unfamiliar accounts on your credit report, which means you have to review your credit report periodically and consistently. Medical bills or services you didn't receive, health records for conditions you didn't have, multiple tax returns or inaccurate tax records. And lastly, notification about a data breach. All of those are warning signs that you have to pay attention to. Now, steps to minimize identity theft. Guard your personal information, number one. Another one is don't respond to unsolicited requests. All right. Protect your mail. All right. Sign up for direct deposit. So instead of having your paycheck mailed to your house, sign up for direct deposit. If you don't have a bank account, then there are cards out there now that you can actually get that can have your money directly deposited to them. But try to get away from paper checks if you can. Clean up your financial trash. So if when you receive bills or if you receive credit card offers in the mail or loan offers in the mail, once you have completed reviewing them, shred them, tear them up, get rid of them. Okay, just don't throw them away whole, because people will dig in your trash can to try to find that information. All right, and review your financial accounts, regularly and carefully. Okay. All right, more steps to minimize identity theft. Be aware of identity theft on the internet. Protect your devices using antivirus software like McAfee or Norton's, for instance. Those are great examples to protect your devices. Review your credit reports at least once every 12 months. You can go to www.annualcreditreport.com. I've mentioned that on several of my episodes about reviewing your credit report. It's just not looking to see what your score is, for instance, or whether you pay things on time, but you need to look at it to see if there's any debt, as you said, on your credit report that's not yours. Keep your important documents secure. All right, keep it in a file cabinet or a safe, or scan it and put it in a secure folder on your computer, that has a password. Those are things you can do to secure your documents. Beware of disaster-related scams. And with the pandemic, in the Tennessee area, we've had tornadoes, we've had bombs that have exploded this year in downtown Nashville, just all kind of different disasters and things that have happened. People try to capitalize on that. For instance, with the tornado back in March, there were people going around offering to remove trees or offering to assist with the cleanup of your home. And those people, what they were trying to do is get in your house so that they can steal what they deem to be precious or valuable items from your home. So be real careful, okay? Read scam alerts, all right? There may be a scam in your area or in your neighborhood that may be going around that you need to pay attention to. All right, now that we've gone to from what identity theft is to ways to identify it, now let's look at ways to protect yourself. All right, these are identity protection services. Number one, pros for identity services. They perform ongoing monitoring of improper usage of your identity. Number two, theft protection services reimburse you in situations involving monetary loss due to identity theft. Reimbursements can cover thousands of dollars in losses, all the way up to 1 million or even more in losses. Number three, in case of identity theft, these services will quickly assign a fraud resolution specialist who will work toward repairing any damage due to identity theft. Okay. Now, those are the pros. The cons are identity theft protection services often can't track many forms of identity theft, such as if a person applies for a job under your name or uses your information to obtain a cell phone. Number two, these services often fail to protect you from the initial identity theft and can only take action after your identity has been stolen. Okay. And number three, some contracts contain confusing language and reimbursement, but may not cover certain financial losses, such as when someone purchases items using your identity. All right. So review and offer carefully to ensure that you know what you're paying for and what you're getting. All right. Okay, now these are the top 5 identity theft protection services. Identity Guards, about $19 a month. Identity Defense is about $9.99 a month. MyFICO, which is $19.99 per month. Experian.com is $29.99 a month. And then LifeLock, which is probably the most popular and most well-known, well-recognized, that's at $29.99 a month. I'm not endorsing any of these, but I believe now that LifeLock actually has paired up with Norton's computer protection. So you may get both services for the price of one. But please do your research, do your homework to make sure that what you're getting, and to make sure that these particular services are covering what you need. Okay. All right. Now there are resources that you can use, governmental resources that can also assist you. For instance, identitytheft.gov. Now, you generally have limited liability for fraud and debts and accounts caused by identity theft, but you can go on that site and there's a wealth of resources that can assist you. Also, USA.gov. That's what you can use to learn about your rights in a data breach. Okay, because we all need to know that information. All right, this is a pretty fast one today. I've done this one before months and months ago, but it's always good to make sure that we are up on this information, that we understand, that it's always on the forefront of our thinking when it comes to identity theft and ways to identify. We can get laxed. I know I do sometimes myself, but we can get laxed and forget about it. So I wanted to make sure that we're always thinking about identity theft and ways to protect ourselves. Okay. All righty. So again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in and watching the show tonight, and joining me this week. Now, I hope that the information was clear, concise, and most important, very helpful. Now, if you want to get in contact with me, or you just want a copy of the presentation, please email me at Practical Finances CG, that's Curtis Gardner, at gmail.com. Again, that's Practical Finances CG at gmail.com. Or you can follow me on social media at Facebook at Practical Finances, on Instagram at Practical_Finances, YouTube at Practical Finances, or Twitter, which is at Practical FINAN6. Again, that's at Practical FIN6. All righty. Just want to thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to seeing you next week for next week's show, which will be episode 6. Okay. Listen, you have a wonderful day and a blessed week. Take care. Bye-bye.